Current Electrifying News, Episode 5. Every episode I seem to cover something regarding BYD and its expansion. Well, let's not stop the habit. BYD has launched its Seal sedan in Nepal. Now, it's already got the Atto 3 and the Dolphin there, so the Seal is the third EV to make it through to the Nepalese market. BYD had joined with a local dealer, Cimex Inc., to sell its EVs there. Now, the Seal will have a starting price of almost $80,000 US equivalent. Seems a bit expensive, but I've got no idea how it compares to other vehicles in Nepal. And BYD again, it's planning to open more outlets in Singapore and the Philippines. Now, currently they've got 7 dealers in Singapore and 10 in the Philippines. And in 2024, they plan to open a dozen or more in both markets combined. Now, I'm going to be in Singapore in a few weeks, so I'll have a quick look if I have time. Stellantis, who owns the Citroen brand, they've opened the order books for the EC3, which is a small electric car. And it's got a starting price of just around 23,300 euros, which is just over $38,100 Australian, $25,000 US, give or take. This will be a very affordable car in Europe. It will have a 44 kilowatt hour LFP battery, which can be charged at about 100 kilowatts peak. And it's got a WLTP range in the order of 3 to 320 kilometers or 200 miles up to. Yet another small EV for Europe. Wish we could get some here in Australia. Volvo may be looking at withdrawing its financial position in Polestar, saying it will no longer provide fresh capital, and it's looking at adjusting its stake in the company. Polestar started its life many years ago as a company specialising in tuning Volvo cars. Then Volvo took it over to act as a sportier arm. Now parent company Geely has taken over the brand and using it as its electric car brand. Whilst I consider hydrogen a complete waste of time and money for passenger cars, it may have some benefit in shipping, possibly aircraft. Now, there's a group of companies in Sweden and Norway that have signed a memorandum of understanding which aims to develop hydrogen aircraft concepts, operations, supply and infrastructure. And they're going to do a 1-year feasibility study at over 50 airports in both countries, with the aim to decarbonise and achieve net zero emissions by 2050. I'm still not convinced about this, and I'm not convinced I'd like to fly in a hydrogen-powered aeroplane. Tesla is to build a new battery plant with help from CATL in Nevada. Tesla's always said they need more batteries. As many as you can produce, we'll buy. So it's not surprising that they're building and expanding battery manufacturing facilities, in addition to ramping up production at Giga, Nevada. Now, once this is completed, CATL will no longer be involved. They're just there to supply the equipment and the expertise to get it up and running. We've known for a long time that big oil pollutes the atmosphere, but a recent report from some global think tanks, Nomisma and Carbon Tracker, have found that legacy car companies are significantly underestimating the lifetime emissions of internal combustion engine vehicles. Well, I would have never guessed, he said sarcastically. They found that the CO2 emissions from Toyota, VW and Stellantis are more than the emissions from UK, France and Italy combined. EVs are the future. Now, to add fuel to the fire, if you'll pardon the pun, Toyota has admitted to cheating in its engine tests for Hilux, Prado, Fortuner, Hiace, Land Cruiser and Lexus LX models. Now, these tests only relate to power ratings, not emissions. But you've got to start wondering about car manufacturers. Just think back to VW and Dieselgate. The Australian government is doing something about introducing new vehicle efficiency standards. Hooray! And they're going to encourage vehicle manufacturers to sell cleaner cars here in Australia. Now, Australia and Russia are about the only developed countries to not have fuel efficiency standards. So it's about bloody time Australia did. Now, the government are inviting proposals for the design and implementation, with submissions closing on March the 4th, 2024. Well, as I said, it's about bloody time. Hopefully, it will be implemented by the 1st of Jan 2025 and will apply to new passenger and light commercial vehicles. Bureaucracy moves very slowly, doesn't it? Ethiopia is to ban the importation of non-electric cars. Alemu Sime, I hope I pronounced that rightly, who's the Minister of Transport and Logistics in Ethiopia, has announced the completion of the Ethiopian Logistic Master Plan, which involves the implementation of green transport in the African nation. He said a decision has been made that automobiles cannot enter Ethiopia unless there are electric ones. They're going to establish some EV charging stations, although the majority of the population, I don't think, can afford a car of any description. And now EVs only, they are a little bit more expensive, as we all know. So the minister also added that it is due to Ethiopians' inability to afford gasoline imports due to limited foreign exchange resources. Now, whilst this move may have been brought about by necessity, I still have to applaud the move and would like to see other countries following suit. RACV, which is the RAC in Victoria, Australia, is commencing replacing its first generation Tritium DC chargers with chem-power chargers. That's good news, actually, for EV drivers who found the older Tritium chargers to be unreliable. And I know about that sort of problem. Upgrade should start this month, February 2024, and apparently will take until the middle of next year, 2025, to complete. Now, the RAC around Australia has been instrumental in helping get the EV revolution going, and they are to be commended for this. Following a somewhat extraordinary judgment by a Delaware court, Elon Musk said that Tesla will hold a vote to move its state of incorporation to Texas. He took a poll on X and there were over 1 million votes very quickly, with 87% supporting the move. He then said that Tesla will move immediately to hold a shareholder vote. Tesla's Giga Berlin achieved a new milestone, hitting 6,000 Model Y SUVs production in a single week. Now, unfortunately, the factory has had to cease production now for 2 weeks after the supply chain was disrupted due to ongoing problems around the Red Sea, meaning that ships have now got to go the long way around. It takes them another 2 weeks to get there. So they're hoping that the shutdown will end on February the 11th. Tesla again has relaunched the transfer of free lifetime supercharging for a limited time. Owners of the models S and X who've got free lifetime supercharging can transfer it now to a new Model S or X and also the Model Y. Tough shit if you're in Australia. It's only in America. But you've got to take delivery prior to March the 31st, 2024. So that's a push for this first quarter. And not long after they announced the transfer of free lifetime supercharging, Tesla then announced that full self-driving transfer is happening again. And it was only a matter of a few hours after the initial announcement. Unfortunately, this offer is only available on Model S, X and Y and only in the US. Quite honestly, I believe that full self-driving is owned by the person and not the car and should be transferable. However, Tesla doesn't see it that way, and probably because it makes them more money. Well, thanks very much for watching. Now, just remember, in the comment section, hopefully I'll place the timestamp so you can pick what you want to watch. But also in the description section, there are links to some of the things. Now, if you could you click that like and subscribe button below? Thanks very much. It really does help the channel. And if you want to help financially, there's Ko-fi, Patreon, and so on. There's also a link to Tesla referral, stake for doing shares investing, and so on. Any clicks to those would help the channel. Thank you so much. Now, a little bit of info here. In a couple of days, I am going over to Sydney for the Everything Electric show there, and hopefully I'll be reporting a few things from there. I'll try and get another one of these current electrified news episodes out when I get over there. Just depends upon timing and so on. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon.